Detroit, 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 Detroit is different. Detroit is different. Detroit, Detroit.
Welcome back to the Detroit is Different podcast studios. And in studio, I have somebody that's definitely coming with a lot of energy about how we can look within and empower ourselves for more. You all already know we've had a series of authors, thinkers, and people that are definitely adding to how we go through life, how we plan life. And she is a life coach, but right now, you all see the book, right? See it, you see it, you see it, you see it, right? Stop playing small. How to go from stuck to unstoppable, because it's a lot of things that definitely leave us in a state where we're stagnant for many reasons. Sometimes those reasons really deal with us alone and where our fears are about what those next steps could be and what could happen, right? So all of this preface to introduce Lanasia Angelina. How are you today?
What's up? I am super excited to be here. That was a dope intro. I really enjoyed it. I was just sitting here really enjoying watching that. But I'm doing fantastic. Just got back in town. Church was great this morning, so I feel good.
Okay. Now, fantastic is definitely one of those adjectives we don't hear a whole lot.
Yeah.
So we're going to definitely throw some sauce on that, and I can appreciate it. 2025 has been a year of a lot for many of us, me included. So looking at getting in some of that joy is definitely something that we can applaud. Yeah. Now, I always start these Detroit is Different with a person's Detroit story. So your family, how many generations deep are your people to the D?
Oh, that's so interesting. Sadly, I don't know a lot about my family history. But as far back as I can remember, at least 3.
Okay. All right. So let's go to where that is in that 3. Your grandparents, whereabouts, where they from, where did they stay? What was their connection in the D?
East side, whole family from the east side. My mother's side, I know that my grandmother was from she's half Haitian.
Okay.
And she was from the black. Yeah, she was from the Black Bottom. Is that what it is?
Yeah, definitely.
From the Black Bottom, so they're from that area. Mm-hmm. But they moved around the whole east side, just as well as my father's side. My dad, my grandmother, my whole life lived on Withhorn. So like Gratiot-Gunston area over there. So I'm an east sider through and through, 7 mile, 6 mile, 8 mile, all the miles.
Okay.
But east side, 48205 is like where I call home. I'm a west sider now, but my family is east side through and through.
Okay, so we've had other guests when we talk about that neighborhood. That's one of those neighborhoods that, I mean, it's such a joke. And shout out to Sydney James. I know every time I say something about the east side, Sydney be like, yeah. The west side is like, I feel you. I love you, Sydney. But y'all know everybody on the east side act like they live near the airport. It's just a part of the east side story.
A thing?
Yes.
I never heard that.
Like, yeah, about the airport. And it's like,
the Connor Airport.
Side,
you talk about.
It's like, yes.
Clearly. I do have cousins right up the street from the Connor Airport.
There you go.
So it's true, I suppose.
So, but that footprint definitely, as we uplift, like, Operation Get Down, you look at the entrepreneurship. So many people always talk about the Avenue of Fashions, and we love that on What's West, but that pocket of Gratiot right there, it is definitely most of my lifetime as a child, and even to this day, it's a lot of businesses over that way. Even to, as they say, the best barbecue is going to be on the east side off Gratiot if you want some. You know what I'm saying?
Where is that? Tell me.
Okay, it's different pockets right there in your neighborhood, like right from the in front of the shopping plaza. It's up the block. Actually, it's this one guy that smoked turkeys and stuff that's real cool with Tony Stovall, High Sam's. Like,
oh yeah. Okay. I'm gonna have to slide back to the east side. See, so when number one, growing up on the east side, not only was I sheltered, we was in church more than we was outside.
Gotcha.
So that's number one.
Gotcha.
But number two, in my formative years, my adult formative years, I was west.
Okay.
So I consider myself to be more of a west sider.
Yes.
Because as an adult, when I was actually driving, moving around, I was on the west side.
It was west.
I was not east.
Never east.
Even though I'm an east sider, I feel kind of bad saying this. Like, I'm an east sider, but I barely moved around the east side like that because I was
You've
so
been
young.
you've been to River Rouge more
Yeah.
than Chandler Park.
No,
That's
I
what he said.
no, I was a Chandler Park girl. I was there when the slide was metal.
Okay.
Okay, and people was busting their head wide open on that boy, and the line was long. We was at Chandler Park for
Okay.
sure.
All right. So let's talk about some of the journey that you remember. You mentioned 48205, but
Okay.
also church. What church did you guys go to? Was that like a family church? What was the
Yep.
connection?
So, Fountain of Truth was actually a church that I was born into with my family. My grandmother was a mother at that church until she passed. My father was a member there. Mother was a member there at one point until she later moved on to perfecting. But Fountain of Truth was that foundational church for me with Bishop Michael Jones, and Pastor Brenda Jones.
Okay. Was that, were you like church like all of the days? Were you there like Bible study, vacation Bible school,
Yeah, so we was in church a lot, especially when my mom was singing, like at perfecting.
Okay.
We was sleeping under the pews while she was in Bible study because we just got out of, while she was in choir rehearsal, she was going to choir rehearsal twice a week. We were going to Bible study once a week. We were not just going to church on Sunday, but we were going to 6 a.m. prayer on Sunday. We were in the church, okay?
You would
Any events, ain't no Halloween, ain't no door knocking, we at church for what you call it, Angels Night.
Okay, and
wearing sheets, being angels.
And perfecting, as people know, that's definitely one of those institution churches that we remember. As even as Word of Faith transitioned into Southfield, perfecting took over that campus, and that's that we know where that's at. You know what I'm saying? Like I still think of that like more Van Dyke, 7 Mile. We're getting in the thick of for show the community, and also Pastor Winans and that Winans family, and so much more of what's happened with that church family, and you were in the thick of it. And I'm guessing definitely being a part of that choir was probably gave like your mom was like a church superstar in certain ways stuff.
I not really. My mom, it's so funny too when people ask questions like this, like about church, and I have never I'm enjoying these questions because it's interesting how you don't realize
the impacts,
the impact of things or the lack thereof. My mom was a person who went to church and went home. She wasn't like building community in the church like that.
I got you.
So we were not like really wrapped up in the church. Like it's so interesting, right? And now that you're asking these questions, I feel like I'm that way. Like I go to church, I go home. I don't be making friends
the culture.
at church.
Okay.
I know, so that's interesting. Yeah, so no, we were not that intertwined in the church, even though we were there all the time. Isn't that interesting?
Yeah. So if that's the play outside of just going to church and everything, what did your mom do? What did your dad do? What was those connections?
So my dad worked for Chrysler. My mom was a phlebotomist, still is a phlebotomist till this day. My dad also still works in the plant. He's a high-low driver.
Okay.
So, blue collar workers, hard workers. Mom worked midnights. Dad worked during the day.
Wow.
So very hard workers. And I definitely got my work ethic from my parents. So me and my sisters did a lot of taking care of each other because, we had to look out for each other because our parents were working so much.
What are we looking at? Like the gaps in ages? Are you youngest, oldest?
Yeah, I'm the monkey in the middle. I have a sister that's 4 years younger than me and a sister that's 5 years older than me. So I'm smack dead in the middle of 2 sisters, and those my girls.
What was it like? Also, like, because you got to experience a little bit of both.
Yeah.
Like being the youngest and being the older. What do you remember about just the changes in that?
Oh my gosh. Well, being the youngest sucked. Being the younger sister sucked.
Oh man.
Because and also like you grow older and you realize like my big sister was so mean to me. She was so awful. She was so this. But then you realize like she was parentified super young. Like she had to take on a lot of responsibility because my parents were working so hard, right?
And the hours being late.
100%. She used to have us, I remember, because my sister, even though she was like having to take on a lot of responsibility, she was still bad. So I remember us being at a house party and then her trying to like watch us at the house party and making us sit on the couch. So I'm like getting up dancing. She like, no, you sit on the couch. How you trying to boss me around? We supposed to all be at home. And we all at this house party, but we got to sit in the corner and be on punishment.
That's what it is. But she probably learned how to cook faster than any of y'all though.
She was multitasking. She like, I'm outside, but I'm still parenting y'all. So sit in the corner while I twerk over here.
Hilarious.
As a 12-year-old. But it was it was interesting. Like, you know, being a big sister was super dope. I never felt like her big sister because we were so close.
Okay.
So it was a difference with my older sister because her birthday was early, my birthday was late. So mind you, she's in high school, I'm in elementary at 10 and 15.
Yeah.
So we're living totally different lives. But my younger sister, even though we were 4 years apart, we lived like we were 3 years apart. So we were always in school together. So we had friends in the same friends group. We did everything together. We walked home from school together. We played in the backyard together. So that was like my road dog my whole life. Best friend, still my best friend to this day.
That's beautiful.
So both of my sisters, we're all close now, but my older sister, it was not that way when I was younger. And I realized later, like, she was parenting us. So, you know, she couldn't be the cool. And also she was just living a totally different life at 15 than I was at 10.
At 10, yeah.
She's like, I don't want y'all to go with me. Like, no. You know, I'm like, she hate us. Like, no, she was just trying to live her teenage life.
It's like, I want to go see, I don't even know what's the name of that movie. It's like, I'm so old. It's like, your sister tried to see, what is that movie? You Got Served, and y'all trying to see like, Toy Story, and they like,
horrible. And she had to always take us, so she hated us. Like, I am sick of being a mama.
Yep. Like I say, it does teach. When being an older sibling will teach you to cook, though.
Yeah,
you do know in the kitchen.
I don't know if she cooked like that.
Hilarious. Hey, she learned. She may not have made what you wanted.
We was eating noodles.
Hilarious.
Yes.
Hilarious. Hey,
they got us through though, so it's all good.
All right. So with that, what schools do you go to? High school, middle.
Oh my gosh, I feel so bad. I'm on this podcast, on this Detroit podcast. Detroit is different. And I'm like, just bombing all the Detroit questions.
Ah, you cool. You cool.
So I went to Fleming Elementary.
Okay.
Von Steuben, which was right across the street, only 6th grade, which was super weird. And then we moved a lot.
Okay.
So 6th grade alone, I went to 3 schools.
Wow, being a new kid. So I always like asking this question. How did you adjust to being a new kid, and what did that teach you navigating that?
You just got to find one girl and beat her up.
Hilarious.
For real, that's literally like that was really the game. Like, you got to find one girl and beat her up because I know that sounds so crazy because people wanted to pick on us. And it was hard because I was a kid who, like, I didn't want to fight because my mama didn't play that fighting stuff. So when we fought, we got in trouble. So people still, they push you and push you and push you because they think you weak. When really, girl, I done fought so many people. Like, I'm really like just trying not to get put on punishment. So I'm trying not to fight you. But yeah, you just got to find one girl, beat her up, and you cool after that. But that was really the game. Every time you move. Like, and I didn't even have to start the fight, but I definitely had to fight all the time because everybody was gonna try you. It was just people were living, when you in the hood, you think people just like don't like you for whatever reason. They probably don't, but they are in their houses getting beat up by their mamas, by their daddies, by, you know what I'm saying, by their siblings, getting abused, sexually abused, mentally abused. Like, people are going through a lot. Parents are alcoholics. So, you know, even though my mom was super strict, super mean, like, we weren't dealing with that in our household. So we going out having to fight everybody at school. Like, why y'all want to fight all the time? Because they were dealing with so much hardship. Like, perspective, you know, hindsight is 20/20. And you realize later in life, but I definitely knew how to hold my own.
There you go. So you did get hands in 6th grade.
I had to and my sister was the reason because I remember trying to run away from fights and she'd be like, you know, you don't fight them, I will fight you. And I'm like, okay, well, my sister can fight way better than you, so I'm gonna take my chances on you, sis.
There you go. All right, so that's navigating there, and then on to high school.
High school, I went to 2 small charter schools. This is when we moved to Harper Woods. I went to Michigan. I went to Hart Academy Health education and related technology was right across Vernier Highway. We used to go over to East Land, hang out with the boys from Frederick Douglass because their bus dropped them off there. We used to be up in there with them all night, getting in trouble. And so that was my Detroit experience, hanging out at East Point.
Well,
I
hey,
mean, Eastland.
anybody that went to Fred D, that's going to be a lot of Detroit
Listen,
experience there.
we love them boys. Like, we knew we going over to the mall. The Fred D boys gonna be over there. We about to hang with them for a couple hours after school. But I went to Hart Academy, and then I graduated from Michigan Collegiate, which was on Ryan and 13 Mile. It used to be Connor Creek Academy. A lot of kids bust there.
Okay.
So I went there for my senior year and graduated. Both very small schools. I'm talking 250 students total.
Okay.
Very small schools.
So even like a smaller senior class that you had.
Yep, like 70 students graduated.
Okay.
Yeah, very small.
What were...
But they were all from Detroit.
I was going to say, how did you adjust to, because I know sometimes when the school seems smaller, it's different adjustments.
Yeah.
How did that work in your favor? What did you like about it? What did you be like, I wish I'd have had this?
Well, I hated Hart Academy, but we had no sports teams. So how people got that Cass Tech Renaissance spirit, I ain't got none of it. Okay, we had no school spirit because there was nothing to be spirited about.
There you go.
So I did like the fact that going to Michigan Collegiate, we had a basketball team.
Okay.
We had a football team. So that gave me a little bit of pride. But being there 1 year, I wasn't as connected as the kids that were there since some kids were there since middle school. So it was just a whole different ball game. They felt super connected and, So for me, it was just like, I'm getting through this school year and I'm out of here.
Okay. So from there, high school, what was your thought process?
Yeah.
At this, what were you thinking you wanted to do? What's your path?
So I always have been a writer. Always was a creative writer. I used to write poetry. I used to recite poetry. I used to do spoken word. And I went to school for journalism, which I wish I talked to a guidance counselor because it's not the same. It's nothing creative about journalism. I mean, there are some creative aspects, especially now in media. But back then, the route that I was trying to take, it was nothing creative about it.
Okay, so you talk about the creative writing. When do you, and I'm going further in the past, when do you develop the skill set? Is it like from journaling? Is it from like a teacher that you had that encouraged it? Where do you start like making the connection that it's like, I really like creative writing? Yeah,
that's a really good question. I actually used to write music. I used to write music all the time. I still actually write gospel music. People don't know that. So I still write music. One day I'll sell the songs. I actually sold a couple songs when I was in college.
That's beautiful.
To people, right?
Beautiful.
So I always used to write music. And then for music, in school, I used to do a lot of creative writing. My teachers always wanted to double promote me. They were like, she's an exceptional writer. She's a really good writer. My one teacher, Ms. Limmer, actually used to have me write these stories and share them with the class in 4th grade.
Okay.
So that's when I really discovered I'm actually a good writer.
With that encouragement.
Yeah, with that encouragement for sure.
Okay. And then also, as we're talking about the dynamics of that, I think being a good writer obviously means you're taking in and reading a lot of stories probably as well. What were you reading? What was your connection? Who did you even like? And what did you look to for anything like that?
I was actually not reading a lot.
You weren't reading?
And so I've never been an avid reader. I just started reading for real, the past few years. Well, I started reading maybe 2016, 17. I was never an avid reader.
But you were writing. So how did you connect?
Writing.
What stories would you connect with both? Was that more
I've
in
always
movies?
Been a storyteller. I've always been very spiritual since I was very young. I've always been super spiritual. So I was a journaler. I was a creative writer. I always wrote these stories. I used to write little books all the time. Just my imagination. It was not from anything I read.
Okay.
I remember one time even I used to print off lyrics for my friends in school because I was the only one with a computer. So I used to print off 50-cent lyrics and stuff. And I remember one time my teacher caught us, I was giving out 21 questions to the kids.
Hilarious.
And my teacher read them out loud. And she was like, oh, since you like to read so much, here's a few books that you can read. And one of the books that she gave me was called The Skin I'm In. And that did inspire me to start reading a little bit more. That was 6th grade.
Okay.
That book was very inspiring. But no, I was just never into books. I always liked to be active.
Okay.
I was always super active, super talkative, super creative. So yeah, I was never into reading. I was not that girl that would I just want to cuddle up with a book. I was not. I wanted to ride a bike.
Okay, so the songs, were you singing as well, or was it just more so just writing?
Yep, I used to sing in the talent shows.
Okay.
Every talent show, they knew Lanasia was gonna sing. I was doing poetry and talent shows. I've always been this extrovert.
Mhm.
I've always been just vibrant, loud, the same girl that I am right now.
Okay. All right. So now you go into college. What college do you go to? You speak about journalism as a path because it's in writing, but not necessarily the creative writing that really you had a passion for. Where do you go, and how did you connect to just navigating that?
Yeah, so I actually went to Oakland University. I dropped out of
Okay.
Oakland University. I did not graduate.
Mhm.
But when I dropped out, I actually got into nonprofit work.
Okay.
So that's when I really would say that my connection to Detroit started was when I came home from college.
Okay.
And I started volunteering at the Boys and Girls Club while still going to school part time.
Which boys and girls club?
Holden on the east side. Holden
Okay.
Shaner.
Okay.
Mile and
So
Shaner.
back to the east side.
Yeah, back
we
to
go.
the east side,
All
to
right.
my auntie basement. I moved in with my aunt at 15. So I was right around the corner. I didn't have a car. I was working part-time. I was still going to community college part-time when I came home. And I was like bored. I never wanted to just sit still.
And so did you get double promoted or something?
Never got double promoted.
Okay. So you said, you were just with your aunt.
Yeah, I left at
from
15
that.
because of family issues.
I got you.
Yeah.
All right. So you're still there with your aunt. You moved back in with your aunt. You're
Yep.
there, and you said community college. What community college you go to?
I went to Oakland University.
Okay, so you went to OCC.
Yep, I went to OCC.
Okay.
And I was going to school part-time, working at Eastland part-time, but I still had time on my hands.
Okay.
So I started walking to the Boys and Girls Club to volunteer.
Mm.
It was like 5 blocks around the corner.
And that was just from volunteerism.
Yeah, volunteering. And then after that, they were like,
Can
you want to work here? You want a job?
Yeah.
I'm like, cool. I was still working at the mall. I was working there, so it was cool having 2 little jobs.
Okay.
But then from there, I told the girls, I started like a dance team. I was making cupcakes. I was doing whatever they needed around there.
Okay.
Like whatever they needed, I was doing it. But then I started to like do these affirmations with the girls and started the dance team and all that. But then I was like, all right, y'all, like I'm 19. I was 20 at the time. I was like, I got to go get a big girl job. I got to get a car. I was like, but as soon as I get my car, I'm coming back.
Okay.
And I was busing it to my job on Telegraph and 12 Mile from 8 Mile and Gratiot. I was busing it to a job. And I got my first car in 7 months.
Mm.
And the first thing I did was went to the club and told the girls, like, we about to restart the dance team. And we did. And from there, I ended up talking to the director. He's like, you should get 501c3 status. And I did. And I was partnering with all the clubs, running programs for them, doing grassroots fundraising, getting grants. Like it evolved into, we served over 2,000 girls.
Wow.
In the Metro Detroit area. We worked with DPS high schools, several boys and girls clubs, elementary schools. I even had a space in the community center on 7 Mile in DeQuinder.
Mm-hmm.
So that's when I could say when I really started to feel connected to Detroit for myself.
Okay. All right. And what era are we talking?
That was 2013 to 2018.
Okay. So did you meet Sean of Boys and Girls Club along the way there in that connection? Because I believe that's Sean that runs that.
No, Chris Kyles was the director at the time that I was there. Yeah.
Okay. And with that, just working with that organization and getting 501c3 status.
I know who you're talking about.
How did you select your board? How did you, because that's a lot of process, especially for like a younger person that's executing things. How did you
what I was doing.
get all the you know what I'm saying, do all of that stuff?
Yeah, I literally, and many organizations start like this, family, friends, right?
Okay.
So when I started, I will tell you, I was so young and I was so organized. I had bylaws and, I got the 501c3 status. I had a mentor who helped me out, Shalimar, from Doors of Success, who's still doing the work, who's still down on the ground helping. And, I really just connected with people, friends, personal friends. Me and 5 of my friends started and, they helped me with everything. They were even donating to the board, share, paying their dues, doing our meetings. And it was wonderful. They really had their hands in the process.
Okay. And while this is happening, you're simultaneously working, you got school.
Mm-hmm.
What impact do you think seeing an effort that you built from community with young people. Like,
Yeah.
what impact did that have on you and your I don't wanna say confidence, but just, your outlook on life at the time, just moving forward, seeing the way that that grew?
Oh, yeah, it changed everything about me. I actually was just telling a story the other day about how at 24 I stopped fighting and arguing. Like,
Mm,
I don't do, like, the riffraff, in relationships, I'm very relaxed and,
mhm,
because I remember it, like, growing up, my parents fought.
mhm,
That's all I saw. So, I thought it was normal. And I remember when I had that conversation about, like, I'm not doing this anymore, it was because of the girls.
mm,
It was because I wanted to be a better example even when they weren't watching me. I wanted to have that real integrity of, like, if I'm talking to them about confidence, right? How am I showing up in the world? Am I carrying myself like a woman who values herself? Am I speaking like a lady who values herself? Am I dressing like a lady who values herself? So honestly, every time I showed up for those girls, it wasn't necessarily a decision that I made like one day and I was like, I'm gonna change my life for these girls. It was just a lot of small moments that I realized you need to sharpen up
mm.
because somebody's watching you. Sharpen up here, sharpen up there. And, I've always carried that with me. Like serving these girls, I wanted to really be that example for them, but not just when they could see me. I wanted to be that example for them even when they didn't know
Mm.
what I was doing, where I was. I wanted to really hold that integrity so that I was really walking what I was talking.
Okay, and then, also, when you do efforts like that, I can only imagine what the young people, their response even coming back
Mm.
after as you committed to it, as first off, man, I can get his shout out. So, shout out to my goddaughter, Talay. Mad love for you, Talay, and, so much that I learned from her. One of the times where it was, like, something going on, maybe she's like Slay probably was in ninth grade at the time, and
Mhm.
something delayed, and, I was like, we're not gonna be able to go to the movies," and then our
Mhm.
mom was like, she been waiting, with coat on and all of that stuff ready for, like, a day." I'm like, "Damn, that made me feel bad and stuff," but
Yeah.
sometimes, like, just the impact of a child's expectations, which,
Mhm.
life, expectations change, but children it impacts them differently. It's just life. You all remember, like when you're a kid, it seemed like summer is forever, getting to Christmas is forever, your birthday taking forever. And then you grow older, life fills up with so many things and it just moves so much faster. But for a child, moments like whatever could be offered can mean so much and be so important. So I'm sure that you coming back um, had an impact on just those the the children that were in that
Oh,
program to make
100%.
an impact like, "Damn, somebody came back."
Oh, 100%. I couldn't wait to get back either.
Mhm.
Like, it really did, though. Like, I built really great relationships. I mean, I've watched some of these young ladies grow up, have babies, get
Yeah.
married. Like, crazy to say, like, I'm really OG.
Mhm. Yeah.
But it's beautiful to see. Graduate college, so it definitely has been beautiful to know that, like, I played a part in, their development.
Okay. Alright, so so you said that's, like, in that window of 13 to 18. What else is happening in your life at that time? I know you are life coaching now. Do
Mhm.
you move into that at that time?
Yeah.
What's happening outside of, what you're doing with the group? And then also, what's the name of the group? We gotta uplift that.
Oh, it was called Pretty Girl Campaign.
Pretty Girl
Pretty Girl
Campaign.
Campaign.
Alright.
Yep. So, and actually, Black Women Transform is my organization now
Okay.
that I'm working to get 501c3 status for. We've
Mhm.
impacted the lives of many women over the past few years, but we're actually going to start some youth development in
Okay.
2026. So I'm excited to get back, in the game,
Alright.
like primarily with young ladies.
I'm with it.
So, I've been working with women since transitioning from the nonprofit, dissolving that partnership and transitioning into life coaching at the time. And actually that really came from operating a nonprofit and people coming to my office like, can you help me run my business? Because
Mm,
I was running this nonprofit and it's interesting to even see what social media has evolved into because
mm,
I was never thinking of it as like this vehicle to really like amplify the work that I was doing. I was just kind of showcasing what we were doing, right? But people were coming to my office like, help me start a nonprofit.
mm.
How do you do this? How do you do that? Help me to run the social media. Help me to get the brand. Help me to, and I was that really could have took off for me but I was like, when they would leave the office, they would end up crying
Mm,
because I would never just get into, okay, cool, let's start the nonprofit. It was like, okay, why do you want to do this? And from there, I realized that these women had these deep wounds. So it was deeper than just, let's start a nonprofit. It was like, why? Are you seeking validation? Are you like, what is it in you? Like, let's tell that story instead of just getting you out there. I need you to connect with why you're even doing this, if this is even the route that you should be taking. And I talked to somebody about that from church, and she's like, you're a life coach. And I was like, I don't even know what a life coach is. Tell me more.
Okay. All right. And I'm gonna put a pin in that, as I
Yeah.
sometimes say, and then also go to the root of what led you even to move in that direction to ask those questions in the first place.
Because it matters, especially when you're working with youth. You know, people have all these, I won't even say that they're impure motives, but I think that people chase after what looks good and what the next person is doing. And I was doing this because number one, I started not getting paid, right? I was just volunteering because I cared. Then they offered me a job. Then I left the job and decided to come back, not to come get another job, but to volunteer again. And then they were like, you should get 501c3 status, right? So I was never chasing a bag. I was really chasing service. I was really just trying to show up for these girls. And what I realized is when people would come to me and be like, I want to have a nonprofit too. I think that they thought it was a glamorous thing to do. I think that they wanted to have this title, which I still realize that in my work. Till this day, people are chasing a title. They're chasing validation. They're chasing this feeling of like being somebody. And I always tell people, like, I do this work because I really know that God has called me to do this. And I am not the person who just says, I will do it for free. I was doing it for free. And God sent people in my life to say, you know that you can do this. You know that you can capitalize off that thing that you're doing, right? I just cared about people. And I always, the reason why I was digging into that is because if you, number one is thankless work. Don't think you about to get up in here and get a bag. I was still bartending, still hustling. Don't think you about to come have a nonprofit and be balling, because you're not. And a lot of people, as soon as you just express that to them, they don't really want it.
Mm. So now I'm gonna go a little further down that path a little bit, and you say that so many people are seeking that title, and what is it that you feel that people are associating with that title? Now I'm gonna do the classic Kari where I make the question elongated and a little bit but I gotta throw some sauce in here. And shout out to my homie Sterling that often says this, but like oftentimes we so it's like we see, for a lack of a better term, the destination or whatever, we're chasing it. And we're chasing it to get to the emotion that we feel is associated with whatever that it is. So for instance, it could be you know, eh, here's something that often happens. Like it could be like something like, man gets a car. It feels as though, okay, with this car, with this automobile now, it's going to present to others a status in me that will validate them treating me a way that I feel like I should be treated. Whereas the that potential was always in you. It's just you didn't kind of like unlock it and go there before then. So then you get it and almost become more of a desperate situation, because then you like, people don't even they ain't even tripping that I got an Aston Martin, and they don't even know that, Detroit only got 5 of them and I'm one of them with it, and it's like you know what I'm saying? So it's like we're chasing
I know what
or
the
an
it
emotion
is.
that we associate with the it, and usually the it and the emotion aren't associated. It's us that are honoring whatever this is and feeling as though that equals that. So, like I say, I know that that's a long, convoluted question, but it kind of still goes back to the root of why do you think so many people are chasing the it of the title?
Worthiness. They want to feel worthy. They haven't found that within themselves. You're already worthy. And this is why I'm such a This is why my faith is so important in the work that I do, in anything that I do, because there's so much conditioning going on all day, right? Telling us we need the Aston Martin, right? You see the bag? I need the bag. She got a nonprofit? I need a nonprofit. She got a business? I need a business, right? She's validated because she has this. And it's not true. Everybody's looking for something outside of themselves when it's all within. So they're looking to feel like they're enough. They're looking to feel adequate. They're looking to feel worthy. And they don't, because they're trying to find it in these fleeting things, and they're never going to find it there. It can only happen when you allow yourself to see yourself. So when you really strip yourself from all this manufactured identity that the world shapes you to operate in, then you see, oh, just my being is enough. I struggled with being the person who was performance, driven. My worthiness came from my performance. If I'm not working super hard, if like I was guilty taking a nap.
Mm.
Like, rest is not a luxury, right? Like, it's necessary. You actually have to rest to restore every bit of energy that you've been using. So, just realizing who I am in Christ has helped me with my sense of worthiness. So I'm willing to walk away from things that look good for other people. But I realize my validation doesn't come from that. My validation comes from operating in the fullness of my purpose, whatever that is. My purpose isn't a business either. My purpose could be buying the person groceries at the store. But if I'm not close enough, if my ear is not to the Holy Spirit to get that guidance, then I'm not operating in my purpose, because the purpose is not the business. It could be today, right now, but it's not the only purpose. There are many purposes that we have, and a lot of people are searching for this one thing to make them feel like they're good enough, when in fact, just your being validates you.
Mm. Yeah, and as you speak to that, what resoundingly went in my mind was actually lyrics of a song. George Benson wrote the song or performed the song first, like as I heard it, but it definitely embraces and becomes a hit through Whitney Houston. And then I guess like it echoes further from Coming to America. But it's, I believe the children are the future.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like that song is reflective of finding value in self,
Mm-hmm.
and through the value you find in self.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, no matter what you take from me, you can't take away my dignity.
Yep.
Because the greatest love of all.
Yeah.
So like all of this is this definitely gets into the arc of this gets into the arc of definitely not only Christianity, but many of, like, I guess, the Judeo-Christian Islamic religions, but Abrahamic, but a lot of things in faith, because the relationship that we have with self is an extension of a relationship we have with, as you all know, I'm always speaking about creativity, a creator, whatever you may worship into the creation of what we look at as the life before us. And as you talk about, like, seeking what's external and then validation, and you said definitely it's things that are conditioning us, taking our focus away, distractions, and they can run abundant, and it's tough because, especially like I think households are interesting, especially like when you have two siblings. Like even me and my big sister, like it's things she remembers that are completely different than how I remember, and vice versa, because I think that's just life in general.
It's crazy, right?
It's like watching a movie and it's like, you see that? And then it's like, did you see that? And it's like,
it is insane.
So with that, all of these external things that still are like floating connected to the creator and have their own creative relationships. And I get to this long soliloquy of a question to get here. So as you are walking this path, seeing it through what you're doing to work with the young ladies and everything like that, and that's definitely changing some of how you engage and interact with the world. As you see the successes come, and you also like navigate these challenges, what impact does that have on, I'm gonna go external, the people around you and the way that they start engaging with you?
I honestly feel like some people were inspired,
Mhm.
some people were jealous,
Mm.
some people were supportive, some people weren't. But I definitely would say people have a certain respect for me and have had that since I was very young, since starting the nonprofit. I feel like I took on a leadership role very early, and because of that, people have developed a lot of trust with me. If I say if I have this initiative going, I will say that I do have a lot of trust where people are willing to hop on board because they've seen me follow through and, serve before. So I will say that has definitely been a positive impact. Just the fact that I've developed this culture in my life where people are like, if Lanasia says she's gonna do it, she's gonna do it. So I can get behind that, and I know it's gonna be a worthy cause, because anything I attach myself to is definitely about helping people.
Okay. So now I definitely gonna jump real fast forward into life
Okay.
coaching. So the elder at church was like, "Hey, you a life coach." And
Yes.
you like, "What's that?" And now you
Yes.
find out what that is. Um, as you find out more about what it
Mhm.
is, uh, what do you think about it was the connection that grounded you to move in that direction?
Yeah, so actually, when it was presented to me, she's like, "You should come to my office and talk about it." I'm like, "Okay, cool." Right? I go to her office and she's pitching the sale.
Okay.
And at the time, I'm like, I had never made a some odd $1,000 investment into myself for anything outside of college, the
Yeah, I was gonna
traditional
say
route.
college. Yeah, yeah.
Traditional route, what makes sense to everybody else. This was off the beaten path. I'm young, I had never done anything like this, and she's like, "It's this amount of money," and I'm like, "Girl, I'm barely making rent." So I went home, I prayed about it, I fasted about it, and I called back and was like, "You got payment plans?" And getting into that program was one of the best things I ever did
Wow.
because it I've never felt like something fit like a glove so much. Like, I became just so intrigued with understanding a new way to communicate with people, asking deeper questions that empowers them to unlock their own potential instead of just advising people, you should do this and you should do that, but instead getting people to tap into their own critical thinking abilities, their own creative capacity, because they can do it themselves. But we've never been taught that, especially in our community. You know, I see children, sadly, and this is not everybody, so I don't wanna make any, statements that diss my own community, but I will say, sadly, a little black girl, 7 years old, at the restaurant, her mama's gonna order her food. She's not gonna look up, she's not gonna communicate. Little white girl, and again, this is not major, you know what I'm saying? But I see it in my community. Little white girl, she's using different her whole vocabulary is different. She's able to challenge her parents. She's able to ask questions. When a person is empowered to ask questions, they think a lot deeper. They take their critical assessment skills, which are vital to our development. They're much stronger by the time they become 18, 19, 20, 21. So a lot of people are underdeveloped because they weren't encouraged to ask questions, not to anyone else, and definitely not themselves. So people believe that other people have the answers when in fact they're always within you, but you don't even know how to communicate with yourself.
And
So sorry, I would like went left.
no, 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 no. I definitely. This has been a topic that's come up a couple of times.
Yeah.
Detroit is different podcast, and so first, as I'm always giving shout outs because you need to connect to these people I shout out. I know it may seem odd or whatever, but it's only giving honor to people that I think have dynamic takes on this and a
Mhm.
lot of experience in this. So Amber Redrick in the work of Teen Height definitely deserves a lot of that in the sense of is the old school phrase,
Mhm.
children, are spoken to
Mhm.
and not communicated with. This definitely stands on our community. And it goes to like my auntie. Shout out Coco. I love Coco. And telling that story of like her mother.
Yeah.
Um due to our journey here, um, our journey created situations where things are like this thing that can be detrimental in certain ways
Mhm.
was survival in other ways at certain times.
Absolutely.
So like So something, especially with when we get to like the different generations and how things happen and where things go. But there's definitely a time where I do think, especially the way that my parents even raised me and provided that space and place and bandwidth to communicate together, where it does come to life.
100%.
And like everything, it's a time and place for everything. With that, I also definitely concur. I think critical thinking skills often should be exercised and executed in like any other thing that we exercise. And
early.
I would say
early. As soon as they start talking, before they start talking, ask because it's as simple as asking a question to get them to discover an avenue instead of telling them where to go. And that's essentially what the system does, the prisoner pipeline. I mean, prisoner, you know what I'm saying? The pipeline to prison. Literally, the system is set up to get you in prison or on pharmaceuticals. They want you in one of those pipelines. They want you sick or they want you in jail. America, at least.
I could say that it's a lot of ways to go in those paths, especially in our community.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, this is always a philosophical discussion, especially when it comes to our people, because a lot of the foundational reason that that we served, I mean, this even predates America's existence itself through the leadership that I'm calling America is enslavement. And since then, the journey of the road we have
100%.
Here is different in people itself. So I think that it's always like what opportunities will present themselves and what will be available. But all of this strengthening of like how to question something, where to question something, you know, it definitely takes time where you have to exercise it and begin to crystallize it. And oftentimes like due to the stressors of time and a lot of stuff, and then sometimes just the embarrassment of what it is. So it's like, yo, why are we eating hot dogs again? And it's like, because all I can afford is hot dogs.
Yeah.
And that can be like, you know,
100%.
a bag that like topples, you know what I'm saying? It's like, you gonna eat what's on that plate, you know what I'm saying? Where it's like now, you know, I mean, as we know, our relationship to food is even different depending upon if you got like them grandparents from back in the day. And it's like, you gonna clean the plate, but their dynamic of like, you know, we may or may not eat every day. So now this is how we getting down. All these things present themselves.
Absolutely. And the point that I was trying to make about the pipeline to big pharma and the pipeline to prison is if you disempower the people by making them believe that they don't have the power and the authority within themselves, then they won't explore other options. And that's the main thing. If you tell a child at the age of, now granted, I understand like financial, you know, like there's differences in being able to, okay, yeah, my child might want blueberries, but I can't afford blueberries. I can afford
apples
or applesauce, not even apples. You know, apples are expensive now. They like $2.49.
Hilarious.
But what I will say is, even if you can't provide that in that moment, it's important for them to know that the option is still available for them, right? And the critical thinking comes in with, okay, we can't afford it, but how? Most people probably could afford it if they asked themselves a different question. They just say, I can't afford it instead of how can I afford it, right? So they're disempowered. So now they're disempowering their children. And it's not their fault. It's not their fault because if my mama when my parents got divorced, my mama was working 2 jobs sometimes. You think she got the patience to be going back and forth with a 10-year-old about what we about to eat?
Yeah.
She don't have time to empower me. She got to go to work. Right? So that's just a whole, I mean, I can go down a rabbit hole of like just why is just such an imbalance in our community versus other communities because the mom couldn't be at home nurturing, taking time, communicating, empowering the children, asking the questions to develop their critical thinking skills because she has to go to work. Yeah. But I'm still saying that this is the problem. The problem is that the reason why people end up sick, the reason why people end up in prison, the reason why people end up in the grave is because a lot of these people feel like they didn't have options. A lot of these young men who end up selling drugs, they weren't taught the critical thinking skills to understand I could go mop up the barbershop. It would be less sexy. But if I had critical thinking skills where I weighed all the options, had a deeper conversation within myself, felt validated within myself, my dignity would still be intact even if I went and mopped up the barbershop, right? It would take me more time, but I could still get it accomplished. Maybe I can mop up three barbershops, right? And all I'm saying is, yes, it's less sexy. I'm not saying that it's not a harder path. It's a more difficult path to think critically and, solve a problem. But what I'm saying is people must understand that they always have the power. And that's the problem that I run into with most people as a life coach is that they realize that they have given their power away to something.
And that's actually
that's why they
right
feel
here,
stuck.
Stop playing small. How to go from stuck to unstoppable. Mm-hmm. And it's even as you speak to that, and I got definitely got some more questions. It unpacks certain things that I've philosophical discussions that I've had, clearly, 500 podcasts, a lot of sociology, anthropology, psychology, all of these ologies and stuff, just in human behavior, definitely. Mm-hmm. So inside the I definitely don't believe so much in absolutes, but also having the understanding that having an understanding of more Eastern philosophy, like yin and yang. You know what I'm saying? In crises, you got opportunity.
100%.
But it's just back to like, what opportunities can we take advantage of? Because that's yin and yang. If you all ever seen the sign, so it's like, okay, you don't want to go through this, but now, if you're experiencing homelessness, open up the gateway of like, okay, I was stuck in this location, so now I can explore and go other places. Now, I'm not necessarily saying that this is glamorous or anything, but this is just, as you say, opening up the opportunities past what we look at as this is the reality. And at times, we can be stuck in so many realities that we create more so in our minds, similar to the I brought this up before, like the picture of the elephant in the ball and chain.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
It's like, the elephant has the ball and chain. It can't go beyond the circle of where the ball and chain is. You do that for like 5 years. You take the ball and chain off, the elephant will never go past those boundaries because that's all it is. It's the classic, like, I ain't never been out the east side. I never been out the west side. Yeah. So it's like, it's just another side of town. So now when we talk about traveling, the state, the nation, the world, it's
100%.
It blocks some of that. So as you talk about these things where people are stopping themselves, I see fear is one of the things that I got on the back of the book, but expand and speak a little bit more about your journey in moving past the blocks that you felt that you had set.
Honestly, I will say, as I share in the book, it's a lifelong journey. It's not like I came to some place where I just never hit another roadblock, but the difference is my assessment skills, right? So when I hit a roadblock, I recognize I'm empowered to do something about it. There's always a way through it, over, around, and beyond it. So it's not that I don't hit the roadblocks anymore. It's that when I hit it, I know how to respond. I'm a problem solver. And I would say the difficult thing, the difficult part of my journey was when I didn't realize that I had the ability to solve all of my problems. I felt like it was somebody else's fault. And I remember being in my early 20s and my boyfriend saying to me one time, because I hated my parents at one point. I left at 15 and I was like, my dad's addicted and my mom just doing her thing. And I was like, I hated them. I hated them every day. I hated them fiercely. And I remember one time I was crying because of something my mom did again. And my boyfriend was like, you gonna keep crying all the time or you gonna fight back? And I was like, I'm gonna do both. Like at the time, I felt like that's the meanest thing somebody ever said to me. But looking back, that's the best thing somebody ever said to me because nobody challenged me. Everyone was coddling me instead of empowering me. That was an empowering question because when he asked the question, guess what I had to do? Answer it. Am I gonna fight back or am I gonna keep crying? And I decided that I was going to start to fight back. And fighting back was figuring out different ways to get it done. If mama said no, figure out how to get it done. You know? So that was the best thing that ever happened to me, is just realizing that there were more options available to me. So my journey of being stuck, every level there's a new devil. People call them new levels, new devils. But I think at every level there's a new version of you that you have to tap into to realize that you are just as empowered on this level that you were in the last level. It's new. You don't know how to navigate it. So as long as you're in constant communication with yourself, reminding yourself that this level is no different than the last level. The only difference is how you show up, how you respond to every challenge that presents itself. It's not going to be this extreme difference of level of difficulty. It's going to be how you respond to it. There's going to be more options available to you. You just have to navigate through which one is going to be the best at this new level.
Okay. And I wouldn't be me if I didn't hit you with this one.
Okay.
In the forms of conditioning, humans are not just creatures of habit. We're also, we are usually moving towards comfort as well. So the best analogy I can think of this is, I don't now, but as a kid, I used to have these fish tanks, right? So it's certain fish, and I always kept catfish. Now, we never cooked them or anything, but catfish, because they can live with like a certain level of like, I don't have to clean the tank all the time. But it's a certain fish that like, so like if like I don't clean my tank, which this is trifling, but if I don't clean my tank for 3 months and the catfish kind of gets used to that, and then I take it out of I clean the tank and now he back in like brand new, fresh, new filtered water. It's like catfish, like toxic shock almost, because also some of the symptoms, especially like with my family, and you kind of made reference to it, addiction, but it can come in many forms. Like we can, things that are, I think people use the word toxic a little too much nowadays, but like things that are not necessarily the most progressive and productive for us, we've grown comfortable with whatever that condition is. So the question is, how does a person get, first off, like recognize some of the comforts in something that is not progressive for them, and how would they even move past something like that?
Well, number one, your assessment skills need to be intact. It needs to be a regular practice for you. People aren't taking assessment enough. They're waiting for a crisis to happen to realize, oh my gosh, I have gained 150 extra pounds. Oh my gosh, I have nothing in my bank account. Oh my gosh, I am in the most toxic relationship and I'm 5 years deep and I've gotten nothing from it, right? So I think that people's assessment needs to be more frequent. There needs to be a healthy practice of taking assessment of your life. Am I going the right way? This is the direction I said I was going in. This is the vision. And are my actions aligning with that vision? Are my conversations aligning with that vision? Is my environment aligning with that vision? Most people don't even know what they want. They don't even know what the vision is. So let me take this back. So I actually use my ideal framework to help people with this. So yes, getting to assessment, but there's some steps that come before assessment. The first step is getting clear about what you want. If you don't know what you want, then you don't know whether or not you're going the right way or not, right? So you don't know if this is normal, if this is good for me to be operating in this way or not, if you're not clear about what the outcome you're trying to produce is. So getting clear about, number one, what you want. That's the imagination stage. The step 2 in the ideal framework is the disruption stage. So after you've imagined what you want, you've gotten clear about what the vision is, because 95% of people don't know what they want, so they don't get it. Vague vision gets you vague results. Step 2 is disrupting every single thing internally and externally that does not align with what you want. So after you've gotten all the junk out the way, now you get to actually embody and execute towards that vision. After you're executing constantly, guess what you're doing after that? You're taking assessment to see, okay, I'm moving. I got all this motion. Am I even making progress? Because people be moving, exerting all this unnecessary energy and not even moving the needle forward. So really take an assessment. Okay, this is the vision. I disrupted everything that I thought didn't align. Now I'm embodying, this new version of myself through execution. Now I need to actually continuously assess the situation, whether that's daily, weekly, monthly. Some people don't even check in with themselves daily. I always lay in bed before I go to sleep and I put my hand on my heart just to see how I feel. Before I try to go into prayer, before I try to read, before I try to do whatever, I just put my hand on my heart to see how I feel.
Mm.
And most people have no idea how they feel until the end of the week when they crashing out, cussing somebody out who just cut them off. It's never that deep for somebody to cut you off, right? And at the end of that is long game mindset. That's the last step in the ideal framework because it is a process and you have to endure it. It's going to be uncomfortable. Some days you're not going to see the results, but you have to make sure, again, establish what the vision is, get that imagination inside your mind, disrupt everything that gets in the way of it, embody it through execution because action is the only thing that builds real confidence. Everything else is fake. And then constantly take assessments to see whether or not you're going the wrong way and have the mindset that it's going to be long and you have to endure in order for you to evolve into that new version of yourself. So that's to answer your first question, people need a practice of assessment. They're not practicing checking in with themselves nearly enough. If it's not daily, if it's not even throughout the day. Sometimes throughout the day, I could be in front of my computer. I'm so in tune with me. I could be in front of my computer knowing I'm not really being productive. And I'll be like, you're not even at your I can actually every hour of work can be at like a high frequency for me. And if I feel my energy getting low, if I feel myself feeling a little burned out in the day, I'll go for a walk. I'll go eat something. I'll listen to a podcast. I'll take a nap. But you got to be taking assessment to know where you're at so that you can, restore yourself so that you can get back aligned with that vision that you have. But again, you got to know what the vision is to know whether or not you're going the right way. And what was your next question?
So, which now, like the question really was more so like, and you were saying the assessment about the
Oh, did I answer
comfortability
that? Okay.
and moving past that comfortability. And we find some comfort sometimes in things that are not, they can be more detrimental to, I like even how you frame that, more so the path in which we see ourselves moving towards.
Yeah.
And I guess the other part of this, two things that are big into some of like my own personal process. Definitely the prayer, the meditation, but always it's interesting you say that. But like my mirror work, when I'm connecting, I'm big in like sometimes affirmations, but sometimes just words like eye to eye in my mirror of who I am. And that's hand on heart, hand on gut, where I'm at with that.
Yeah.
So it helps kind of center things for me, like just moving forward, especially when I think that I have more, when I'm questioning more of like what's happening and how things are happening. So that's a tool I have.
That's powerful.
And thank you. And people, it's all other things on like mirror work and what that means and moving into that space and place. But sometimes even that alone, like sometimes people will go, like, I mean, clearly like you brush your teeth, you move, but you're not really like looking
100%.
at yourself, let alone to look at yourself, not like looking to be like, okay, let me make sure I ain't got no crust in my, what I'm saying? But like seriously there.
There's a book by Joe Dispenza, one of my favorite authors. He's a neuroscientist. Two amazing books, Becoming Supernatural, Change and Transform My Life, and also his book, Breaking the Habit of Being Yourself. And he talks about how 95% of what we do every single day is on autopilot. So when you start to do something different, when we talk about fear, when we talk about doubt, it's just your nervous system trying to like keep you safe.
Yeah.
There's no real danger, but your old self is saying, we've never done this before. It must be dangerous. It must self-preservation.
And they say, what is it? I mean, it's different people that say like a habit can form in 21 days or whatever that may be, but yes.
Yeah, you got to break the habit of being yourself. So one thing, like I go to the gym every single day. Every single day I'm at the gym. And what the gym does for me is I'm constantly like, I'm hitting PRs and doing uncomfortable things. So I'm doing something uncomfortable every single day that takes me out my comfort zone and reminds me I could do hard things. But most people, they're not doing anything that pushes their comfort zone at all. They're not pushing the boundary whatsoever. So when it's time to do one new thing, start the business, post on social media, whatever it is, people are deathly afraid because they're living in this stored up memory of who they are. And anything that goes outside of that boundary tells them that it's not safe. So it's a practice of doing that thing to store up new memory to tell you it is okay. It is safe to post on social media. I promise. Most people not even gonna see it. And then some people are gonna be inspired by it, right? My whole life changed because of social media. I was able to leave corporate. I've been able to impact so many people's lives. I've been able to meet great friends that are like my soul sisters, build great community. Like all of that has happened from stepping out on the other side of what was once uncomfortable for me.
Mhm.
And it's important that we're constantly doing things that store up new memories. So go to that new place, eat that new food, take a new way to work. All those little things will help you to store up new memory of who you are.
Which, this is something that I raise. It's like I got a couple of Marcari, I need to. I don't
You
know about
gotta
a
you gotta
book,
call
but
it
I think
something.
I'm like my list of things. But one of them is definitely the fact that, like, I think sometimes the toughest conversations are the people that are closest to us. Whether that be children, that could be spouse, that could be parent, that could be
Mhm.
like the person, like person you work with real close, business partner, something like that. And that's sometimes the toughest person to build that
Mhm.
communication track with.
Yeah. Yeah. It can be. So can you ask the question again?
So it's really, I didn't even get to the
Oh,
question.
okay,
I
I'm
was going to
sorry.
say, so for a person that has that struggle,
Yeah.
because the intimacy involved with the connection with who they're with, how does the person kind of hop that hurdle? Which I kind of want to go back to, like, it sounds like so much of like redefining even the relationship you have with your parent.
Yeah. Vulnerability is going to require somebody to take the mask off and allow themselves to be seen fully. It is not comfortable. I am not the most vulnerable person. It is a journey. And I will say, like, there's someone in my life now that has helped me to be like super, super vulnerable. And I'm like, who am I? Right. But what it does is it allows you to, number one, make a deeper connection with people. Um, and you gotta not be so concerned with what could happen on the other side of me opening up. When I had to have some of the hardest, Imma say this, manage those expectations.
Mm.
So talking to my mom, talking to my dad, even talking to my big sister, having to have some really hard conversations with her, for us to get to such a place of healing, it took me putting the guard down and saying, "You know, I don't really like how you do that," or I don't really like that you weren't there during these important moments in my life. And there's this way in our culture, essentially, where we have this like I'm playing it cool. You know what I'm saying? Like you gotta just. I always say people grab their purse, their keys, their fronts. When everybody leave the house, they got their fronts. Like, oh, nonchalant. It don't bother me. It don't bother me. It don't bother me. But just as much as you think you're not letting hurt in, you're not letting love and support in. So I was that person who was like, "Mm-mm." It don't bother me that my father is who he is. It doesn't bother me that my mother is who she is. I got to that point and it was hardening me. And I had to eventually come to a point where I think some people think vulnerability starts with opening up to somebody else, when in fact it's opening up to you. I was journaling with me, performing in my journaling with me.
Mm.
Got these pretty print control journals, all these goals, all these perfect prayers, and I wasn't being honest with myself in my own intimate time. And I realized that in my reflections, I was looking back like, dang, you got the wall up with you.
Mm.
No wonder it's hard to let it down with everybody else.
Yeah.
Like, and I had to ask why. Like, why is it hard for you to open up with you?
Mm.
Like, you got to get to the root of like, okay, I'm doing it, but why am I doing it?
Yeah.
And once I was able to uncover that for myself, it became more beautiful and more inspiring for me to open up to other people and allow myself to be seen because I got, number one, I had nothing to lose and everything to gain. If I open up and I show my most authentic self to you and you don't accept it, you've done both of us a favor. I've done both of us a favor by being vulnerable, by being my most authentic self, right? But if both of us are pretending, we ain't doing nobody no favors.
I got you. That's real. That's real. Yeah, man, I dig it. I dig it. Now, as we get closer to a close, first off, definitely, you all definitely have reasons to get this book now.
Yes.
You know? So, how do they connect? If they want to get the book, if they want to consider you for coaching, how do they?
Yeah, Lanasia Angelina everywhere.
Okay.
Super simple. LanasiaAngelina.com is my website. LanasiaAngelina.com is my email. Lanasia Angelina on all social media platforms. My TikTok is Life Coach Clocking Out.
Okay.
I be over there trying to act like I'm so fun. I'm not. I be still over there putting coaching content. I'm trying. Vulnerability.
There you go.
But yeah, all social media platforms. I would love to talk to you, connect, tap in. You know, we can kick it. I got 2 great communities, Black Woman Transform, which is a free community for women who are just chasing God, crushing goals, and building sisterhood together. We also are going to have a pillar of community service that we're launching in 2026.
Okay.
So I'm super excited to just be helping the youth get back into the groove. We're helping the youth. I'm like, all these powerful Black women in this community, we got to get back.
Okay.
So I'm excited. I'm excited to be relaunching that.
I'm with it. So with that, classic Detroit is different questions. You kind of gave a sneak peek. I think you're going to give the answer for this one. But your very first car, your make and model year you got
Oh, my gosh. 2003 Ford Taurus. I used to be pushing that baby to the limit. It ain't had no heat.
Oh, man.
Oh, my God. It ain't had no heat.
Oh, man.
And we went through the best of times and the worst of times.
Okay. Where's the first place you went when you got it?
Probably my boyfriend's house because he helped me buy it. We scraped up our little pennies and bought that car for $1,600 from a lady who it only had 94,000 miles on it. It was such a good car.
Okay.
Yeah, probably somewhere with my little boyfriend who helped me buy it.
Shout out boyfriend. All right. Next question. You're the DJ at the end of the fireworks, Woodward and Jefferson. You get to play 2 songs. What you playing?
Oh my gosh. I'm the DJ. Woodward and Jefferson. 2 songs. Dang. What makes me feel like back in the day? That's what I'm thinking of. Shoot, I don't even play them kind of songs no more. I don't even know. I mean, it's a good day. It's so nice out. Colin telling me to bring the ice out. Payroll.
There we go. Shout out to Payroll's new project.
Payroll. I don't know. Probably a gospel song. I love me some gospel. So
what song?
I can't even think. I don't know. Maybe I'm trying to think of a good hype one. Maybe some DKG Kai.
Okay.
That's my boy. He be spitting. He a Christian rapper.
Okay.
And he called maybe some Jaden Ivey. Mm-hmm. Yeah, Jaden Ivey flow or some She Blessed.
Okay.
So yeah, that's probably it.
And the last question, you could rename Woodward after one Detroiter. Who would it be and why?
Oh, this is good. Woodward, dang, that's thick. After one Detroiter. I don't know. That's hard. Dang, I need time. After Woodward, like the Woodward, that's like, what's your answer?
It depends on the day. I mean, I've had many, depending on the day.
Yeah, that's a tough one. I don't even think I have an answer for that one. Detroiter, Woodward. I don't know, bro. I don't want to mess that one up.
Hey, it's like let's take the enslaver's name down.
Jesus,
we can go with that. We can go with that.
Can't nobody be mad at that.
Okay, we can go with that.
Yeah.
Christ Avenue.
Listen, Christ Ave. Hey.
You're like, man, the Christ is running slow today. It's supposed to be on time all the time. They get on the bus, they
silly.
Get on the 53 light.
It ain't never running slow. It's always on time.
You gonna be in damnation for running slow.
Oh my gosh, that's funny. That is so funny. That's a good one. Christ Ave, coming soon.
I got you. Definitely. All right. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
I enjoyed this.
Definitely.
I really did.
Peace.
Detroit.
Detroit, 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 Detroit.